The story begins with showing a teenage girl named Carrie attending a sports class, where she accidentally hitting another girl with her ball, making everyone laugh at her. While cleaning up in the bathroom, Carrie is startled to find blood from vagina. She screams for help, but her female friends mock her, with Sue Snell and Chris being the most enthusiastic bullies, throwing a pad into Carrie's face and telling her that it's just menstruation. Fortunately, a teacher intervenes, ending the embarrassment. Carrie then taken to the principal's office to learn about menstruation, a topic her mother never discussed. After knowing that Carrie's mother never explained about this condition to Carrie, the principal decides to call Carrie's mother to encourage her to be more attentive to her daughter's needs. On the way home, Carrie asks her mother why she never talked to her about menstruation, but her mother stays silent, showing the lack of concern for her daughter. Carrie is seen as strange not only at school, but also in the neighborhood. When a boy bullies her, suddenly the boy falls from his bike, which makes some wonder if Carrie has telekinetic powers, but it cannot be confirmed and may just be a coincidence. It turns out everyone bullying Carrie's because the influence of her mother, as she was a devout follower, that prohibits Carrie from socializing with others, fearing that her daughter will fall into immoral socialization that leads to great sin. Without government and child protection social services intervention, Carrie might never have been able to go to school. Her mother's odd and overprotective behavior starts from Carrie's birth, where her mother contemplated killing her as she was considered a test from God. But she abandoned that intention and decided to keep Carrie until she grew up seclusion. Even with Carrie's problem at school, instead of defending Carrie from bullying, her mother locks her in a room to pray for forgiveness for her sins. In another place, Sue Snell, who had joined in bullying Carrie earlier, is seen with her boyfriend, Tommy, who is a school sports star. Sue still feels guilty about the incident and asks Tommy for his opinion. On the other hand, Chris, with her boyfriend Billy and a friend, is satisfied with the bullying and even records and uploads it to YouTube as a joke, with the video spreads widely online. After the incident, Sue, Chris, and their friends face the threat of not being allowed to attend the prom night. To make amends, they must accept punishment from the teacher. Unwilling to obey, Chris rebels and invites Sue and the others to do the same, but Sue and the others don't follow her. Chris then immediately contacts her wealthy father to persuade the principal for allowing Chris participate in the prom night event, but it doesn't work. Since Chris is found guilty, her father can't intervene, and she is not allowed to attend the prom night event. Chris, who is angry, confronts Sue and her friends, feeling they didn't support her rebellion. Back at school, Carrie faces harsh treatment from all students due to the viral video. Feeling alone, she accidentally uses her power again, amazed by its strength. She then researches about telekinesis in the library to improve her abilities. On the other hand, from all of the bullies, Sue is the only one regretful. She then asks her boyfriend, Tommy, to invite Carrie to prom night event as an apology. Initially hesitant, Tommy agreed to Sue's request, and he immediately met Carrie. Hearing this, Carrie is suspicious of Tommy's sudden invitation to attend the prom night together because he was dating Sue. Feeling deceived, she leaves Tommy without responding. When Carrie is alone, one teacher comes to comfort her. Carrie shares about Tommy's invitation and seeks the teacher's opinion on its sincerity. To make sure that Carrie is not beef deceived, the teacher visits Sue and Tommy, confirming Sue's genuine desire to Carrie. Sue decides not to attend the prom night events as an apology for what happened that day, suggesting Tommy accompany Carrie instead. As Carrie reaches her house, Tommy appears again, asking her the answer for his invitation to the prom night event. He even threatens not to leave before she asked her. Fearing for her mother's return, Carrie immediately agrees to the invitation. This marks for the first time she can feel happy being asked by a guy to a party and treated like an ordinary human. Because she didn't have a prom dress, Carrie went to the fabric store to buy fabric to sew her own dress. Chris and her friends notice, realizing that Carrie will attend prom with Tommy. Carrie arrived home late because she was shopping for fabric. Eventually, her mother discovered that Carrie planned to attend a party with a boy from the prom night event in a few days. Upon hearing this, Carrie's mother became angry and told her she couldn't go. She was worried that Carrie would get involved in bad things like drinking and other sins at the party. When Carrie's mother firmly said she couldn't go, she started to float. That's when she realized that her daughter had inherited the same powers as her father. With determination, Carrie's mother declared that Carrie was a witch, but Carrie explained that she wasn't the only one with such powers. She hoped her mother wouldn't see her as weird and would treat her like any other child. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Chris and Billy went to a pig farm. They had evil plans to embarrass Carrie at the prom later, and Billy immediately killed a pig to take its blood. Not long after, the prom night arrives. Carrie is seen ready in her homemade dress, but her mother still insists she shouldn't go. When tensions rise, Carrie uses her powers again to lock her mother in a small room. Soon after, Carrie and Tommy arrives in his limousine, and Carrie looks incredibly happy as they head to the prom, seeming almost amazed to be there. Tommy gets a message from Sue asking about him and Carrie, and he assures her everything is fine, which makes Sue feel relieved. Unknown to everyone, Chris and Billy sneak in through the back door to carry out their evil plan to hang a bucket of pig's blood above the stage. After setting the trap, Chris sends a message to Sue. This makes Sue realize that Chris is up to something bad against Carrie, so she hurries to the school to stop it. The event moves to the part where they pick the prom king and queen. Chris's wicked plan unfolds as her friends manipulate the votes so Carrie and Tommy win. Carrie is shocked when they're announced as winners. Meanwhile, Sue arrives and tries to warn them, but it's too late. Where Chris and Billy, up high, pour the pig's blood on her. They also show a video of Carrie's embarrassing moment, making fun of her instead of sympathizing. Then, a spare bucket falls, hitting Tommy and killing him instantly. Carrie finally snaps in anger, unleashing her telekinetic power. She closes all the exit doors and creates a horrifying terror, causing a fire that injures many and kills some. As Carrie leaves, she sees Chris and Billy in a car, fleeing the chaos. Carrie swiftly follows them. With a stomp, she cracks the road, making it impossible for Chris and Billy's escape. Seeing Carrie closing in, Billy tries to hit her with the car, but he ends up dead from the impact. Chris, still alive, tries to flee, but Carrie won't allow it. Determined to harm Carrie, Chris accelerates, but both meet a gruesome end after Carrie causing a massive explosion with the car. After that, Carrie heads straight home. Finding her mother managed to get out of the room, Carrie immediately cleans herself, pondering her actions. Her mother appears and hugs Carrie while expressing her love, admitting she tried to prevent tragedy. Suddenly, her mother tries to kill her with a knife, leading to a struggle where Carrie, injured and frightened, uses her powers. Ultimately, Carrie's mother meets her end by her own daughter. While grieving her mother's death, Carrie encounters Sue, who tries to help but gets kicked out. Before leaving, Carrie briefly senses the unborn baby in Sue's womb revealed to be Tommy's. Unable to bear her pain, Carrie destroys her house and ends her suffering. She's buried in a public cemetery, seen by many as evil. Only Sue understands Carrie's goodness and mourns her. As Sue's belly grows, she has nightmares of her child being born in a terrifying form, hinting at Carrie's possible reincarnation in the baby she carries. Moral lesson from the story: never throw a pad at someone's face, especially if it's just because of their menstruation surprise, or you might foul your prom night with a massive explosion. And if your mom doesn't teach you about stuff, don't worry, just Google it.